With great power comes great responsibility. We all know the famous saying from Spider-Man, yet how do you make good on this? Today we look at why fulfilling your duty and taking responsibility is vital in life. If you like today's video and find it informative, please give us a like down below and subscribe to the channel. Today I'm going to discuss a topic that's of vital importance in our lives and is of huge importance in maturing as a person. This is fulfilling your duties in life and responsibilities. My belief stems from the teaching of the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, which, to simplify in its most basic form, is that in life you need to fulfill your own duties and responsibilities. The reason for this is simple, because as we grow, so does our list of responsibilities. This will be achieving satisfactory results in education, earning a living to support yourself, and taking care of your loved ones and their well-being. If you fail to mature and take on your own responsibilities, you will see chaos stem from this, and ultimately it will harm you and potentially others. Let's take a look at a simple example of taking responsibility for yourself. If you fail to earn a living, you'll struggle to make money, which is a necessity required for food and shelter, basic amenities needed by people. This leaves you on the street, ultimately trying to beg for the basic sustenance that you need to survive, and if you fail to get this, then ultimately you will put your life at risk. This is why you need to fulfill your duty. Now, let's go a step further, because you might be responsible for providing for your family. If you don't take on this responsibility, you do not only put yourself at risk, but now you're putting other people and their lives at risk. What you see from this scenario is that you're no longer a meaningless individual, but rather an important node in a network. If you don't fulfill your own duties, it can potentially harm others around you, and as it affects them, they will struggle to complete their own duties to the best of their ability, affecting those they make contact with. Think of it as a ripple effect. Let's take a professional environment where this might apply. Someone who works as a cleaner in a hospital performs a vital function in that hospital. That's because if that individual doesn't do what is required of them in their role, it makes it easier for sickness and bacteria to spread throughout the hospital. This ultimately puts patients at higher risk and can potentially cost them their lives if they contract something that could be deadly for them. You see, what might initially seem fairly innocuous can actually manifest itself to have an effect of great proportions. This also works the other way. Japan is infamous throughout the world for its cleanliness. This isn't just random, but fundamentally comes down to how people perceive their role and responsibilities within the network. Culturally, Japan has a long history with valuing the collective whole over the individual. In almost every facet of life, Japanese culture always seems to stem back to people working together to overcome challenges. You see this in their education system, professional environments and pop culture. It's about the collective, and each person has a sense of responsibility to that collective. This manifests itself into how people act culturally. For example, school children have to often clean the school themselves at the end of the day. This gives them a sense of duty and responsibility from an early age to take care of the environment around them. This continues in all facets of life, and along with learning from an early age to keep their environment clean, Japanese children are taught to take pride in their nation, and as part of that, it's their duty to take care of their country and the environment. In both of these scenarios, with the hospital and Japan as a nation, what we learn is how carrying out your duty and taking responsibility duly impacts the masses, not just the individual. However, there is one key principle you have to understand. That is, you have to prioritize your responsibilities. The issue is, it doesn't matter who you are, you can't do everything. Therefore, you have to do what's most important by prioritizing your duties. Let's use a simple example. You have a responsibility of cleaning your house and you have a responsibility of helping a child with their homework. In this scenario, the chances are that the latter responsibility is likely to be of greater importance, as the child, if not helped, will struggle to learn, and it could have a detrimental effect at school for them. A house that isn't cleaned in that moment in time may get a little more dusty, but that can be dealt with at a later date without it likely having caused any harm to anyone. Unfortunately, this also means you may end up having to disappoint people from time to time. For example, a partner may have hoped that you'd actually clean the house. That's part of the parcel of taking responsibility and maturing. You can't do everything, and you won't always be able to make people happy. That's a fact of life. However, if you have the sense to pick up and choose the right duties to fulfill, people will generally be understanding of your choice given the greater good. Going back to the educating or cleaning example, even if you disappoint a partner by not cleaning the house, most partners will ultimately understand that spending time with the child to help them with their homework is likely to be of greater importance and value. Fundamentally, people need to fulfill their duties and take ownership of their responsibilities in life, not just for themselves, but for the greater good of those around them. It's how we've progressed as a species and fundamental to our survival and ensuring that we don't ultimately regress into chaos and destroy ourselves. As far as I'm concerned, those who are nihilistic are principally choosing the easy road out by choosing to live without meaning. And who can necessarily blame them? It's much easier to live without having to concern yourself with the consequences of your action. However, you then have to ask yourself, well, if we all choose to live this way, what's the result and do we want it? You have to own your life and live by taking responsibility to live a better life for yourself and those around you. Your ability to make good and fulfill on your duties is contagious, as others follow those who lead by example. By doing this, understand you're doing something towards the betterment of others and helping us progress as a species. Going back to where we started, with great power comes great responsibility. Do you agree with this video? Whether you do or don't, I'd be fascinated to know your thoughts in the comments section below. Please remember to share this content if you think you know anyone who might be interested in watching, and please subscribe to the channel.